Hello everyone and welcome back to Cooking with Suzanne. So today we're going to make cookies. We're going to make an oatmeal cookie, oatmeal raisin, and we're also going to make a Nutella cookie using oatmeal as well. So oatmeal is the key ingredient to both cookies. The one thing I want to share with you is that it's not so much about the recipe. There are so many recipes out there. I am sure everyone probably already has a favorite oatmeal cookie recipe, and that's great. I think this class really mostly is about how important it is to have all of your ingredients together before you get started. That is known as mise en place, everything in its place, and that's what we have here. I have all of my ingredients ready to go, and then we can actually prepare our dough. So the first thing, we're going to start with the oatmeal raisin. You want to get all of your dry ingredients and you get them in a bowl. And in this bowl, I have 1 cup of old-fashioned rolled oats. I have 1 cup of unbleached all-purpose flour. I have a half a teaspoon of baking powder and a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. I have a half a teaspoon of kosher salt, an 1/8 teaspoon of baking soda, and an 1/8 teaspoon of freshly grated nutmeg. So that's all of our dry ingredients right here. And you're just going to mix this all together. So I have a bowl here in front of me, and in this bowl I'm going to add 1 stick of unsalted butter, which is 4 ounces. And it's room temperature. It's not super soft, but it is room temperature. And to that, we're going to add some brown sugar. I have 1 cup of dark brown sugar. So I'm going to put the brown sugar in my bowl along with my butter. And we're going to mix this. You can just use a regular handheld mixer, or you can use your KitchenAid if you have one. And I'm just going to use this because we're just going to mix this for about 3 minutes. So we'll just get this going. Start it on low. Okay, our butter and sugar is nicely incorporated. It's fairly light. And now the next step is to add 1 whole large egg. And we're going to add just a little bit of vanilla, about a half a teaspoon. And just add a half a teaspoon of vanilla. And just mix that until that is well incorporated. Okay, so this is nicely mixed. Go. And now we want to add our dry ingredients. So just put in all of your dry ingredients and start off on low. And you just want to mix this just until the flour is incorporated with the butter and sugar and egg. So I just have this on low. Then we will add our raisins, and we're also going to add some nuts. So we are all done with our mixer, and we have our batter here, and now we get to add raisins. I'm going to put in a half a cup of golden raisins and a half a cup of dark raisins. You could also use currants. You could even use dried cranberries if you like. And now we're going to put in a half a cup of golden raisins, a half a cup of dark raisins. I have here 1 cup of chopped toasted pecans. And we're also going to add 1/4 cup of coconut. It adds moisture to the cookie, sweetness, and it tastes very, very good in an oatmeal cookie. So just a little bit goes a long way. Then you just want to incorporate this all together and you are ready to bake your cookies. I'm sorry, it's 3/4 of a cup of raisins and 3/4 of a cup of toasted pecans and 1/4 of a cup of coconut. And I apologize, I said 1 cup, it's 3/4 of a cup. I will definitely put the ingredients and the amounts in the description of the video so that you can have it as there as well, okay? So this is about 1.5 tablespoons scooper. You can make them however large or small you'd like. At the restaurant, we used to always give a little petit four plate at the end of dinner. So we would make our cookies very small, little petite size. But these are a regular standard size, this 1.5 tablespoons. So I'd go about 3 across, and they will bake anywhere at 350 degrees. They will bake anywhere from 11 to 13 minutes. You want them so that they're going to be crispy on the edge of the cookie and in the center nice and chewy. And that's the type of oatmeal cookie that we're making here. Okay, here's our first tray of cookies. If you are going to put both trays in at the same time, be sure to switch them and also rotate them from front to back halfway through, just so that the cookies will bake very evenly. I'm just going to throw in 1 tray now, and here they are, and they're ready to go in. Okay, these took about 15 minutes, and here you go. Oops, they look great. And they smell wonderful. So we'll let these cool for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then you can take them off and put them on a cooling rack. Let's get started on our Nutella cookies. So once again, I have all my mise en place in front of me, and this time we're going to use the KitchenAid, the mixer. We start with all of our dry ingredients. So in this bowl, I have 1 3/4 cups of unbleached all-purpose flour. I have 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. I have 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda and 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. You just want to take a whisk and just mix this, and then you can set this aside. We have 1 cup of Crisco that's going to go in our bowl, and to that we're going to add our sugar and let the 2 ingredients get nicely incorporated. So we have 1 cup of granulated sugar and 3/4 of a cup of dark brown sugar. So let's get that all in the bowl, and we'll mix this using the paddle attachment. I also have my trays ready, lined with parchment paper, ready to go. And by the way, you do want your oven for these cookies at 375 degrees. So let's get this on for about 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, that's nicely mixed. Now our next step is to add 2 large eggs, 1 at a time. And after each egg, you want to scrape down the sides of your bowl and then whip it up again. So I'm going to just put in 1 large egg and let that mix. Then I'll scrape down the sides and do my second egg. Let's put in our second egg. Our second egg was added, so now we can go in and scrape down the sides one last time. And then we will put in 1 whole jar of Nutella. I believe the jar is about 13 ounces. Let's just take a look here. It is. This is a 13-ounce jar. So now we're going to put our Nutella into our mixing bowl. So let's turn this on and get the Nutella mixed in. That smells really good. So I'm going to go in and scrape around one last time. So I'm just going to, and now we're going to start this on low. Just using an on-off motion, just until the flour starts to mix in. There we go. And then our 2 cups of oatmeal is our last ingredient to go into our cookies. So let's add, let's drop this down so I can get all of the oatmeal in. And once again, just until it's incorporated. Okay, that's it. And I'll just scrape it into this bowl here so that you can see the cookie batter. Here we go. Okay, so here is our dough. There you go. And now we can start making our cookies. Once again, I have 2 trays lined with parchment paper. By the way, I did take, after 2 minutes, I did take our cookies and put them on the cooling rack, so they are ready to be eaten, and they smell wonderful. Okay, now to make these, I'm just going to use a 1 tablespoon. This is these little scoopers you can get almost anywhere today. They're kind of fun to have different sizes, but you can use the 1.5 tablespoon also if you prefer. These will be a little bit smaller. Okay, and let's do the same thing. And these we will check. I'll start checking them in about 8 minutes. They'll take anywhere from 8 to about 12 minutes, so we'll start checking them in 8 minutes. So once again, I have a dozen on my tray, and these are going to go in the oven. All right, we'll check them in about 8 minutes. So I just took, ooh, they're hot. I just took the Nutella cookies out of the oven. They took about 11 minutes, and I think they look very good. They're a nice color on the bottom, and I will grab a pot holder here so I can pick it up and show you. So here are our Nutellas, and I'll come around and break one open so that you can see it. Here we go. Let's crack it open. Then you can see what the inside of the cookie looks like. They actually look really delicious. And I have a special guest that wants to come in and maybe do a taste test over here. I think you all know him as Bob Stack. So this is the first time that he's going to be trying these. So I think...
Hello, everybody.
There you
I'm
are.
not really dressed. I'm putting wine back in my wine cabinet. Verano Estate Cabernet, which I think would go very nicely with this
Nutella cookie.
Nutella cookie.
Yeah, so why don't you try it? It has oatmeal in it.
Okay.
And
my head's cut off.
I know,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to dip down. There you go. So what do you think? It should have a nice chew in the center, and it should be nice and crispy around the edges. What do you think?
It was a nice chew in the center.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Delicious, yeah.
Yeah, they look really good. And they make quite a bit.
I like the texture.
I think we're gonna get about 5 dozen out of this batch.
Kind of a coarse texture.
And almost kind of like brownie-like.
Brownie-like, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Like a fudgy brownie, but it's like super thin.
yeah,
And I can taste the hazelnut.
but it's coarse.
Yeah.
You know, like a brownie smooth. There's some coarse elements,
Yeah.
which is very nice.
Oh.
Go very nicely with the Verano Estate Cabernet Sauvignon 2018 Lodi. Not to be confused with New York, Lodi, California. So,
Sounds good.
wonderful job. I'll go back to my wine stocking.
These are really good. I actually even think this would be a great cookie to make an ice cream sandwich. Put a scoop of vanilla ice cream and just kind of make a delicious ice cream sandwich because they're nice and thin and they have a really good texture. And here is our delicious oatmeal cookie, which I did have one already, and they are really good. So here we go. Here's our oatmeal cookies, and that's our Nutella. Bob, do you want to try an oatmeal?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And tell us what you think of this.
All right.
And I'm going to go over and get the cookies
I
out
like
of
the
oven.
appearance.
Good.
Then we have raisins, I'm assuming.
Yes, you assume correct.
And we have nuts.
Yep. Pecans.
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 Right. Exactly. And there is a little secret kind of an ingredient, not typical in an oatmeal cookie.
Really?
Coconut.
I don't think I ever coconut my first bite.
As a matter of fact, I seem to remember you telling me that your mom used to make oatmeal cookies and she put coconut in them.
My mom was the best cookie maker on the planet.
She was before her time.
She was before her time.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. I understand we're going to have a very cold weekend, and moving up north, you may even be getting quite a bit of snow. So it's probably a great weekend to be making cookies.
Yeah. And eating cookies.
And eating cookies.
Yeah.
Nice big tall glass of milk. Thanks so much. See you again soon. Bye now.